My name is Stefan Hansen. I am the Chief Commercial Officer here at Monthio, and my primary responsibility is to make sure that our customers get the most out of our product and that we can meet their needs to ensure their success. Monthio wants to ensure confidence in credit decisions. The way to do that is to understanding overview of the consumer's finances. And the way to do that is really enabled through open banking and harnessing bank transactions. Here, the accuracy of these categorizations are extremely important. And this is something that we have focused a lot on and see a big need for across Europe. We service everyone in the industry that are B2C facing, whether it's that needs to perform a credit evaluation of any kind or credit assessment. But of course, when the stakes are really high in terms of B2C for credit agreements, you need to be able to do a creditworthiness assessment. It's not enough to just be able to do a good credit assessment and have good credit scoring to make sure that you want to give the consumer a loan. You also have to document if you are allowed to give the loan. And Monthio helps solve both of these problems. The core that I think should be the main focus of any organization that wants to compete in this space is the high data quality. So as what I've seen in the countries that we operate, it seems like we have better processes in place so that we have more accurate assessments. We also verify this in practice because we have the technology to show the budget to the consumer, so we can actually see when they agree or disagree with their own budgets. In addition, we also utilize other complementary data sources to get the full financial overview. So this is something that we also do. So it's basically that we are consumer facing. We have the capability to interact with the consumer. We have key focus on high data quality. This is something that most companies will say, but this is also why we have a big emphasis on showing and not telling to our clients. So what we've seen is that the early adapters just seem to get better data available so that they can make better credit decisions. And that leads to lower risk. And it also makes it grants them the possibility to approve more customers because they can identify the gold nuggets in the mine, so to speak, between the rubble, because you have more accurate assessments. And of course, we also gotten quite a few clients through the requirements of the regulators in terms of creditworthiness assessments. But again, it really is something that is well connected, because if you want a compliant solution, you need to be able to trust that the data is accurate. And when you have more accurate data, all of your scoring models will also perform a lot better. And I think a lot of the challenges with using PSD2 solutions since the first scraping solutions was coming online, I think close to 10 years ago now, was that there was too much noise in the data because they didn't categorize everything. Basically, it's important to get the whole picture to understand the household. The impact is a much more transparent process and a smooth process, because previously, if you wanted to document all of your expenses, you need to find the invoices that you have paid and prove via document upload, essentially. Or the bank would have to trust your word on it, and then you would have to remember and write down. It was just a huge hassle to document a budget. With open banking, we can see your actual costs and identify where there are gaps and highlight them and help the consumer to understand their own finances. And this makes it a lot easier, typically the bank advisor as well, to get an easy overview that's documented so they can make a decision. To that, it also makes it a lot easier to automate afterwards, because you actually have reliable data that you don't need to double check. Well, I think it will be, the trajectory is quite clear. So across Europe, it's the same core legislation. So I expect the same will happen in all of EU. The Nordics, especially Denmark, was just a few years ahead of the curve because they pre-implemented the new Consumer Credit Directive. And now there's been a deadline set for the rest of the EU. So I expect the same to happen in every single country. And therefore, there is a need for companies like Monthio. And that is why we are expanding across Europe, because we see that every single country will need the assistance of this. Otherwise, it'll be a real hassle to get a mortgage or car loan, credit card, whatever you need. That'll be very, very cumbersome. We're living in 2023, 2024 very soon. This is the digital age, and there is a smarter way, and we deserve it as consumers, frankly. So we're quite on a mission here at Monthio to make sure that the tools are available for a pleasant experience. 3 to 5 years, that's a long time. So we'll be covering Europe for sure. So we've already established the blueprint, a very scalable architecture, where we just feed in the data points as they become available. So we see across Europe, different countries digitize at various paces. But one of the things that really give us hope as well for the infrastructure is the new PSD3 and PSR regulation, which should ensure a stable open banking infrastructure across Europe. And this is also why we chose to partner with Enable to speed this process up and have access to a good infrastructure. Of course, responsiveness. We're a very professional organization in general and very helpful. It seems like Enable Banking is driven by the same core values about helping others. And this is something that makes it easy to work with Enable Banking. But that being said, simply the access, the infrastructure seems very stable. And there have been some good decisions around the need for processing the data and keeping the access to all of the APIs stable is something that we appreciate in the relationship. So responsiveness and quality of product. Basically. I think it's about recognizing your strengths and play to these strengths. So everyone trusts a bank, right? It's basically legitimacy incarnate. Everyone trusts their bank. Maybe not everyone likes their bank, but everyone trusts their bank at the very least. And this is, of course, due to a lot of compliance around it that secures this legitimacy to operate. But this also makes it harder to move faster. What I would look for is third-party providers that could take charge of some of these processes. So a more modular approach, like we've seen from a lot of the neobanks as well. We here at Monthio are very much focused on making sure that it's the bank that is in control in the end, and we just help facilitate the data collection process and making it easy to understand all of these interactions, both for the consumer and for the bank advisor and for the credit specialists that are designing policies and so on. So we're trying to make it easy to get the most out of this new technology or data, let's say. This is not to say that banks, of course, have been using their internal bank transactions for a long, long time and are very, very good at it. But it is a game changer in terms of onboarding new clients, new customers. It's a whole new challenge and getting that right. And this is where we've seen that our clients, the banks that are using our solution, have been very, very happy with us filling that role. We are a data processor, so of course we have strong processes in place to follow GDPR and makes it easy for our clients to control the data. After we have collected and created the output, the financial overview of the consumer, and sent it to the client, the bank, they are in full control of when to delete the data. So again, we are a data processor, and this is our purpose.